Good evening and welcome to the April 14th meeting of the Florissant City Council. Would you please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Clerk, would you please take the roll?
Stinnett, Pagano, Schmidt, Hernandez, Lee, Gribb, Egan, Caputa, Shuldroff.
Here. Seeing we have a quorum, I call this meeting to order. First item on the agenda is approval of minutes from our meeting, executive minutes of March 24th. Are there any corrections or additions? Mr. Lee moves for approval, second by Mr. Hernandez. All those in favor? Aye. Do we have any corrections or additions from our work session minutes of March 31st? Mr. Gribb moves for approval, second by Mr. Hernandez. All those in favor? Aye. Thank you. Excellent. Mr. Schmidt.
Mr. Hernandez was not in attendance. He couldn't really second that motion.
Nope.
I don't have, I'm sure.
He was not
He
there.
was not there. Just make,
I will second that then. Sorry, Mr. Schmidt. All those in favor? Aye. Thank you. Next on the agenda, we have hearing from citizens. First one we have is Mr. John Engelmeyer.
Good evening, John Engelmeyer, 1281 Graham Road, Florissant. I'm here tonight to thank John Gribb, Ward 2, and Pat Stinnett, Ward 6, council members for their dedication, their professionalism, integrity, experience, and certainly their advocacy for the betterment of this community. To stand up with others of the City Council, to focus what is best for our city. For the past several months, the City Council began working together for the citizens of the city against adversity. Battles are won and lost, but the war is not over. I can only speak for myself because I was beginning to see a dramatic difference on the redefining of the image of Florissant. In business, decisions are made with a cost-benefit equation. I sure hope the costs are not greater than the benefits from this election process. I trust that John and Pat will look forward and look on, and I, for myself, will never forget the experience and the conversational knowledge both have given to me, these fine gentlemen, over the many, many years. Thanks again for a job well done.
Next up, we have Mr. Gerard Henke.
Good evening. Gerard Henke, 409 St. Louis Street, Ward 6. I spoke with Mr. Stinnett, and I wanted to kind of clear the air and set the record straight with the rest of the council, the mayor, and particularly the citizens of Ward 6. There was, I consider, an unfortunate mailing came out right before the election on Tuesday. I arrived at my door on Saturday. And I want to clarify and set the record straight that I had nothing to do with that mailing. The powers be behind it, whatever the reasons they had, that was their right as the citizens. But I had no knowledge, no tacit approval, absolutely no connection to that mailing, if you will. Pat and I have spoken with Mr. Stinnett. I think we ran a pretty good campaign. I respect the man, and hopefully he respected me. I think we're on good terms, hopefully. But I wanted to clear the air with the rest of the council and the mayor, and like I said, and particularly the citizens of Ward 6. That's not my cup of tea. That's not how I operate. Those that know me know that that wouldn't have been my way. Those that don't know me, there may have been some speculation. Once again, I want to clear that air. I'm looking forward to starting working with this council in an honest, open, and a constructive atmosphere working relationship. And I don't want to get off to a start where there's been some tainted perceptions on some unfounded connections to that mailing. You have my word that I had nothing to do with it and had no knowledge of it. I first found out of it that day when it was in the mail. And that's all I ask, is that we get off on the right foot and don't connect me to that in any way. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Henke. Mr. Kevin O'Donnell.
Good evening. I'm Kevin O'Donnell, 512 Rancho Lane. This was for the agenda, for an item on the agenda, Bill 8989, regarding naming the police station the Robert G. Lowry Senior Law Enforcement Center. I'm totally against this. I'm totally against naming any, if they're going to name anybody to that position or that building, it should be Officer Michael Vernon. But actually, I think it should just remain the Florissant Police Station. If we had, now the government center is another thing, a pavilion, a park, but not the police station. I think that that's going a step too far. And I noticed that the sponsor of it wasn't the council as a whole. So I don't know how many of you on council are behind this and who are going to vote for this. But I do know that it was sponsored by the council president, and I totally disagree with this, and that's all I have to say. I think it's pretty bad when you have to push people in order to get votes. Thank you very much. Our support.
Next on the agenda, we have communications. There are none. Next on the agenda, we have a public hearing. Public hearing 14-04-009.
Notice is hereby given in accordance with Section 405, 135 of the Florissant City Code. The zoning ordinance is amended that a public hearing will be held by the City Council of the City of Florissant, St. Louis County, Missouri, in council chambers, 955 Rue St. Francois, on Monday, April 14th at 7 p.m. on the following proposition to wit: to issue an amendment to B5 ordinance number 6305 to allow for the location of retail space, dental office, and a drive-through coffee tenant for the property located at 3025 North Highway 67. Citizens and parties of interest will have the opportunity to be heard at said public hearing. Anyone with special needs should contact the city clerk at least 5 days before said public hearing by calling 839-7630 or TDD 839-5142.
Good evening. Could you state your name and address for the record, please?
Sure. My name is David Voles. I'm with Voles Incorporated, and our address is 10849 Indian Head Industrial Boulevard, St. Louis 63132. And I'm hoping that that screen comes on. Wow. All right, a little yellow, but again, my name is David Voles, and I'm with Voles Incorporated, and I'm here tonight representing Covenant RE Management, and they're a development company out of Los Angeles, California, actually. And we're seeking to amend an existing B5 ordinance that's number 6505, and we want to allow a retail, dental office, and drive-through coffee tenant at the site at 3025 North Lindbergh. It's in Ward 9, and I've met with Councilman Hernandez to show this to him earlier. This is an aerial of the site, and it's located near Lindbergh and Newhall's Ferry. And just to give you an idea where it is to the west of it, this is 54th, what is that called? 54th Street Grill. This is the Denny's, and this is the Verizon store right here. As you look at this site, most of this site, it's actually about 1.09 acres, and almost the whole site is actually paved right now. There's an access right here, and there's an access right here, and the building is right here, but most of the site is currently paved, and it all drains towards the south, towards Lindbergh. This is what it looks like right now, and it's the Leslie's Pool site, and the existing building is 4,475 square feet, and that parking lot that you saw earlier has 45 spaces. The entrance right here and the sidewalk, nothing's going to change from that point this direction. So this is all going to remain the same, and what they're really doing is they're taking that existing building and they're going to rehab a portion of that building. But I wanted you to see what the existing building looks like, and particularly some of the things like this air conditioning unit, because when they put the new facade on the building, those things are going to change, and you're not going to be able to see those. And then the other thing is, as you can see, there's no landscaping along here, and our new landscape plan will show and add landscaping in that location. All right, this is the site plan. And again, here's the building, and the entrance is basically the same as it is right now, so the circulation is going to be the same. As you come west on Lindbergh, you'd make a right in. There's a divided median right there, so you have to make a right in, and then when you leave the site, you make a right out. And the other way you can access it is on the other side of Denny's, is by coming in along here and coming in through the back way. The existing building actually comes over to here. And what they're going to do is they're going to take out about 12 feet of the existing building right here, and they're going to add an addition to this side, and that allows for the drive-through to come through here. So it's a one-way drive-through, and you'll come right through here when you're ready to exit. Now, there's 3 uses that are going to be here, and you'll see this on the architectural, but this is basically it's going to be a Starbucks. This is a retail area, and this is a dental facility right here. Landscape plan is right here. Most of the landscaping is actually existing. These trees along here are existing. There's trees along here that are existing. What we want to do in order to comply with your landscape ordinance is to add some landscape right here and put some landscape islands that are going to be next to the building. The other thing is when I was out at the site earlier this month, several of these trees are dead, and actually a couple of these I think are dead as well. So we would have to work with the neighbor. I'm not sure exactly what property those are on, but we'll work with the neighbor to replace any of the things that are dead out there. But the new landscaping are basically trees here along Lindbergh, a few back here, and then these 3 areas right here. The other thing is the access to these stores, particularly the Starbucks right here. This is a parking lot that has 44 parking spaces, and I think a lot of these people are going to park here, and so there'll be a door on this side as well for people to enter into the Starbucks. This is the architectural of the building, and again, the coffee house, the retail, and the dental area right here. Now, these facades are brick. The existing building, which I didn't show very well, has brick along the front of it, and basically a row of windows right here. But there is a little bit of brick here, and there's a little bit of brick here. And what we're going to do is we're going to match that same brick. So this is all brick, this is all brick, and then this above it is stucco material. And by raising this roof like this, the HVAC will be behind these parapets, so you won't be able to see any of that, and that's part of the plan. And you can see the signage that we're requesting on the building. It'll be a sign for each one of the uses there. This is just another view of it. But the last thing I wanted to ask for is, as I read the PC report, there was one item that basically I missed, and it didn't actually come to my attention until Friday of this last week. But line 55 in the PC report says that the total gross square footage is going to be 5493. And the architect called me on Friday, and they would like to up that number slightly to about 60 square feet. Now, you could up it by over 100 square feet, and I wouldn't need any additional parking, but believe it or not, that extra 2 square feet, they're going to add 2 more feet to the back of the building, and allows them to get the dental to work. So they need 2 more square feet. So I would ask that line 55 be changed from 5493 to up to 5600, but I need it to be 60 square feet more. So that's the presentation, and I'd be happy to answer any questions that you have. Go back to the site plan.
Mr. Hernandez?
How you doing, Mr. Boyce? Good to see you again. I'm glad you addressed the landscaping, because as we looked at those trees, they're pretty much dead, right, and between you and Denny's, and hopefully you will replace those altogether as you go down the length and then down to the left there. And as we discussed, you are going to improve the road coming in from the west there at that entrance, right?
Yeah,
as part of your...
What we're going to try to do is disturb the existing parking lot as little as possible, but this is pretty much crumbled up, and
yeah,
actually there's places in the existing parking lot that are broken up as well. So we're going to repave the areas that need to be repaved and try to disturb as little as possible.
You just mentioned the 2 extra square footage or whatever square feet. That's on the far right, the east side of the building there, right there?
It's basically right here. It's adding 2 feet to the back of that right there.
And that would eliminate 1 parking spot or 2, or limit the length of it?
right now, with the, we're asking for 5,493 square feet, and that, the requirement is 44 parking spaces for that. So I did the math, and we could actually go up to 5,600 square feet before we needed one more parking space.
Okay.
So what I'm asking for is about 100 extra square feet, and it doesn't affect the layout, it doesn't really affect anything having to do with the parking, so
Okay.
everything else would be exactly the same.
You handicap, are they going to be in the front of the building, or will they be?
There's actually, we're showing the handicap right here, although we have the room, and I think when we're all done, we'll probably add a handicap space back here as well.
Okay, great, great. Well, I appreciate your time you gave me last week, and we went over this at the site, and I kind of welcome the new change, I guess. That'd be good. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Yanez. Anyone else on council? Before I close this public hearing, is there anyone in attendance who wishes to speak on this? Seeing none, Mr. Hernandez moves to close the public hearing, seconded by Mr. Caputa. All those in favor? Aye. Thank you, sir. Next on the agenda, we have old business, second readings, substitute bill 8984. I'll move to accept it. Second by Mr. Caputa. All those in favor? Aye.
Motion for a second.
I'll also make a motion for a second. Second by Mr. Egan. All those in favor? Aye.
An ordinance authorizing the mayor to enter into an agreement with Agri-Credit Acceptance LLC for lease of golf cars supplied by M&M Golf Cars LLC.
Ms. Pagano moves for a third. I'll second that.
All those in favor?
All those in favor? Aye.
Ordinance authorizing the mayor to enter into an agreement with Agri-Credit Acceptance LLC for lease of golf cars supplied by M&M Golf Cars LLC. Yes.
Before the final vote is taken, is there anyone in attendance who wishes to speak on this?
Pagano?
We have a citizen.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's right. I didn't see it
John
coming.
Engelmeyer, 1281 Graham Road. I am opposed to this bill. I don't like it. I think it's wrong. I think there's other priorities to the city, but you're the city council. You can vote the way you want to, but I'm dead set against it as a private citizen. Thank you.
Clerk, please poll the council for the final vote.
Pagano? Schmidt? Hernandez? Lee? Gribb? Egan? Caputa? Shuldra?
Yes. Substitute Bill 8984 becomes ordinance number 8034. Next on the agenda, we have new business, board appointments. Mr. Schmidt.
Yes, thank you. I would like to reappoint Loretta Ashford to our Citizens Participation Committee.
Mr. Caputa moves for approval. I'll second that. All those in favor? Aye. Any more, Mr. Schmidt?
Nope, that's all I got.
Thank you, sir. I would like to place Christine Kyle, 110 St. Pierre, to the Landmarks and Historic Commission. Mr. Lee seconds that. All those in favor? Aye. And I would also like to reappoint Christine Kyle, 110 St. Pierre Court, John Ote, 1110 St. Bernadette, Kay Thies, 140 North St. Charles, and a new member to the Citizens Participation Committee, Shonda White, 1845 South New Florissant Road. Mr. Egan moves for approval. I'll second that. All those in favor? Aye. Next on the agenda, we have a request in Ward 9, a request to keep 4 hens for Neil Skid at the property located at 1600 Fairmont Drive. The Health Department moved for approval.
Approval.
Mr. Hernandez grants her approval of this. All in favor? Aye. Thank you. Next on the agenda, we have resolutions. Resolution 970.
Resolution of the Florissant City Council expressing support for the working families of Missouri and urging opposition to the right-to-work laws.
Mr. Caputa moves for a second reading, second by Mr. Schmidt. All those in favor? Aye.
Resolution of the Florissant City Council expressing support for the working families of Missouri and urging opposition to the right-to-work laws.
Ms. Pagano moves for a third, second by Mr. Gribb.
All those in favor?
All those in favor? Aye.
Pagano? Schmidt? Hernandez? Lee? Gribb? Egan? Caputa? Shuldroff.
Yes.
Resolution of the Florissant City Council expressing support for the working families of Missouri and urging opposition to the right-to-work laws.
Before the final vote is taken, is there anyone in attendance who wishes to speak on this? Seeing none, clerk, please poll the council.
Pagano? Schmidt? Hernandez? Lee? Gribb? Egan? Caputa? Shuldroff.
Yes. Resolution 970 is passed. Thank you. Next on the agenda, we have bills for first reading. Bill 8987.
An ordinance authorizing an amendment to B5 ordinance number 6305 to allow for the location of retail space, dental office, and a drive-through coffee tenant for the property located at 3025 North Highway 67.
Next on the agenda, we have Bill 8988.
An ordinance assigning easement rights to the Metropolitan Sewer District for the installation and maintenance of sewers within the Grandview Meadows Number 2 subdivision.
Next on the agenda, we have Bill 8989.
An ordinance authorizing the naming of the Florissant Police Station located at 1700 North Highway 67 as the Robert G. Lowry Senior Law Enforcement Center.
Mr. Egan moves for a second, second by Mr. Lee. All those in favor? Aye.
An ordinance authorizing the naming of the Florissant Police Station located at 1700 North Highway 67, the Robert G. Lowry Senior Law Enforcement Center.
Mr. Egan moves for a third, second by Mr. Lee.
Poll the council.
Clerk, please poll the council.
Pagano? Schmidt? Hernandez? Lee? Gribb? Egan? Caputa? Shuldroff.
Yes.
An ordinance authorizing the naming of the Florissant Police Station located at 1700 North Highway 67, the Robert G. Lowry Senior Law Enforcement Center.
Before the final vote is taken, is there anyone in attendance who wishes to speak on this?
Kevin O'Donnell, 512 Rancho Lane. I figured this was going to be coming up for a 3-vote, rush it through on this. I'm on a group called I Care About Florissant, and there's a number of people on there that read this site and the blog, and most of them are against having this named this. I can bring it up for you. I'm sure that a lot of you are on I Care About Florissant site because we do. I got a call last week from one of the councilmen that told me that I posted something on the social media site about him. He was upset. So I know that you all read it. Why can't you do what the people want? The people don't want their police station named after the former police chief, the former mayor. Sure, he was a good man. He was good. He was a good officer. But how many police stations do you know in the St. Louis metropolitan area that are named that long? And people are still going to call it the police station. I don't understand this. And every one of you have agreed to name this. If I was up there, I would be a no. I would stand up for the people and the residents of Florissant, what they want. These people in Florissant don't get a word. They don't get they didn't know this was coming up until it popped up on the agenda Friday. And I took it to the people. And I told them that what was happening. And I said, if they're going to have to name it after anybody, it should be named after Officer Michael Vernon, who was shot in the line of duty and is now paralyzed. But no, we're going to name it after the former police chief, former mayor, and he's a good man, like I said, but this does not need to be named anything but the Florissant Police Station. And anybody who votes for this will not get my vote next time. Well, it doesn't matter because I'm going to be running next time. But the thing is, I'm just tired of the way that people, the residents of Florissant, are just treated like children. You do what's best for us. You think you do what's best for us, and I don't like it. Thank you.
Ms. Regan?
Thank you. In the city of Florissant, we have a history of naming establishments after our former mayors. Coke Park and the James J. Egan Center are just two that come to the top of my mind right away. Bob Lowry Sr. served the citizens of the city of Florissant for almost 5 decades. He was a police officer for many, many years, 22 years as chief of police, and I believe he served as mayor 10 years. And sometimes it's hard for people to separate the politics from the law enforcement, but I think we need to. I think Bob Lowry was a very good mayor. Bob Lowry was an excellent lawman. Bob Lowry was one of the founding fathers of the Major Case Squad. And the Major Case Squad is a template for similar squads all around the country. People would fly in and see how we did it here in St. Louis on the Major Case Squad. In 1997, I had the opportunity to work a Major Case Squad in the city of Florissant. Unfortunately, it happened in the very ward that I happen to represent right now. I will tell you this unequivocally. Anything we needed to get that crime solved, Bob Lowry took care of. And that wasn't just one case. That was every case. When the Major Case Squad needed something, Bob Lowry went out and got it. He moved heaven and earth to make sure it happened. Bob Lowry really is the architect of the police department we have right now. His son is our chief, and we have one of the finest police departments, certainly in the area, and I would say in the entire country. And I think by putting his name on that building is a justifiable honor. Bob Lowry, even in his retirement, has gone on to serve on boards of the Lindenwood University and the St. Louis Zoo and Museum Board. He still serves the community in his retirement, so I'll be voting yes on this, and I think it's a fine honor and a just honor. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Egan. Mr. Mayor?
Well, thank you, Mr. Egan, for covering everything. They only left one thing, and that is that the current police building probably wouldn't be there if it wasn't for the leadership of Robert G. Lowry. He headed up the campaign to get the voters of Florissant to approve that building, and I can remember I was on the city council at the time, and that was one of the first mementos that I have is a photograph from that groundbreaking back in 1981, and a lot of people that were at that groundbreaking are no longer with us, but I can tell you that it's really nice to be able to honor somebody during their lifetime that gave 50 years of their life to the city of Florissant.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Clerk, please poll the council for the final vote.
Pagano? Yes. Schmidt? Yes. Hernandez? Yes. Lee? Yes. Gribb? Yes. Caputa?
Yes.
Shuldroff?
Yes. Bill 8989 comes ordinance number 8035. Thank you, everyone. Next on the agenda, we have council announcements. Mr. Gribb.
Did you say, oh, I didn't hear you. I must be getting old. I usually don't script what I say, but I did tonight because I don't want to miss any points here. This is the last meeting, last council meeting that I will be representing Ward 2. So I'd like to just make a few statements before I leave you. First of all, I'd like to thank all my constituents and all my friends that have supported me for many years, the many years that I have served the people of Florissant. I'd like to thank the employees of the city and their contribution to Florissant for making this the great city that it is. My heartfelt thanks goes to this current city council, who have worked diligently in a spirit of cooperation always striving for good government in spite of many unnecessary obstacles. My sincere thanks to the city clerk, Karen Goodwin, and to the deputy city clerk, Anita Moore, who helped me for many, many years when I served on the Planning and Zoning Commission, and to our city attorney, John Hessel. These people have always provided me with good advice and good direction. A very special thanks to the Honorable Tim Lee, who has guided me and has guided this council on all matters concerning finance and responsible fiscal management. I am very proud of the 26 years I served the people of Florissant. Thank you and farewell.
Mr. Egan?
Thank you. I just wanted to take a moment and express my thanks to Mr. Gribb for the guidance he's given me the last few years that I've been on the council. John has served 6 years on the city council, and John served 20 years on the Planning and Zoning Commission. I think that everyone on this council has an area that they seem to know, have a little bit more knowledge about than other areas, other than, of course, myself. But John is always a great source of knowledge when it came to planning and zoning matters. He knows the zoning code inside and out, upside and down, and he's been a tremendous mentor to me. And I want to thank him for the time that he's given the city, and I wish him well in his retirement away from public life. I also want to wish Mr. Pat Stennett a very, very hearty retirement, as also Pat served with us for the last 3 years on the council. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Egan. Mr. Caputa?
Thank you, Mr. President. I'd also like to thank Mr. Gribb. It's been an honor for the past year to serve with Mr. Gribb and also with Mr. Stennett, and you will be missed on the council.
Thank you, Mr. Caputa. Mr. Mayor?
Thank you, Mr. President. I'd like to thank all the tax preparers that helped our senior department to do so many tax returns. They did 671 tax returns, federal, and 252 Missouri. Total taxpayers assisted 1,048. So I want to thank all the volunteers, former accountants, retired accountants, and those that are skilled with tax preparation that helped accomplish this monumental feat. I want to thank Peggy Hogan and her staff for coordinating these appointments. It's a very, very appreciated service that the City of Florissant provides for our seniors. Also, like to thank Meridian Waste for two very successful recycling events. We had an electronic recycling event. It was a great success. We recycled a very large amount of electronic material, including TV sets and stereos and other kind of electronic gear. And we're able to keep this stuff from going into landfill and get it into a situation where it could be recycled for the components. Some of the components would have been detrimental to the environment. And also, last Saturday we had a document shredding day. We scheduled it about a week earlier than I'd like to. I'd like to try to schedule it after tax day, which is tomorrow, April 15th. So a reminder, those of you who haven't done your taxes, you need to get them done by tomorrow night. But we had the document shredding day, had very successful from 9 to noon. Again, Meridian Waste was instrumental in helping us coordinate this. I'd like to thank them and all of our city employees from the street department, public works department that helped with this effort. It was very appreciated by all who recycled. We're a very green city. We have a great environmental quality commission, and we try to do everything we can to be conscious of the energy that we consume and the wasteful materials that we put into landfill. The recycling with the blue totes, the single stream recycling is very successful, and we encourage everyone to increase their participation. We were speaking earlier about law enforcement. We had a joint trivia night with the City of Overland to benefit our Explorer Scouts, Police Explorer Scouts, and the City of Overland's Police Explorer Scouts. And my cousin, Mayor Mike Schneider, brought several teams, and we had a very full event, and we raised money for our Explorer Scouts. We'd like to thank all the family of the Explorer Scouts. We thank everyone that participated to make this a successful event. I'd like to thank Joe Egan for his involvement in the St. Ferdinand basketball tournament. He's been there pretty much every weekend barbecuing. Didn't have to worry about cooking on Saturdays or Sundays. We're able to get the barbecue that Joe is involved in most of the time. I'd like to congratulate the St. Sabina team and their coach, Christine Holsclaw, for they won the event, and I just want to congratulate them and all the teams that participated in this annual tournament. It's during March Madness, part of the March Madness movement at St. Ferdinand Church. We also changed our animal adoption procedures here in the City of Florissant. We were required by the state of Missouri to not let pets out for adoption unless they're vaccinated first. So all we did was we just amended our procedure. We're going to pass on $40 of the vaccination fee, which is the same as what the county charges. It's not going to cover all of our expense, but we didn't want to charge anything different than the county does, so that when a resident or someone wants to adopt a pet, there'll be a $40 adoption fee to help cover the cost of the rabies vaccination. And also just wanted to make it clear, there's been some comments on social media about the way the City of Florissant treats animals, both domestic and wild animals, and the Public Works Director issued a release that we have never abused any animal, that we treat every animal with humane and compassionate approach to handling all of them, and any allegations to the contrary are unfounded. The City of Florissant also cares about the other living things in our community, the largest living things in the city. City of Florissant has celebrated its 25th year as a tree city, USA. We attended an event that was had the Lisa Allen, the Missouri Department of Conservation State Forestry, and we had there are cities from all over St. Louis County. Not all cities participate, but a good number of them do. Only a few of them have more years as a tree city than we do. Also, we celebrated Arbor Day last Thursday with the children from Parker Road Elementary School, the second graders and their teachers. And so we planted two trees there. And I'd like to thank the Parks Department staff that helped us with this event, and the teachers and students from Parker Road School that helped us celebrate Arbor Day last week. We're creating a little bit of a wooded area near the Voodoo Jet. And Valley of Flowers, to help us celebrate the 75th anniversary of the renaming of the City of Florissant, we're bringing the circus to town. Nino the Clown and the Zope Italian Family Circus, which dates all the way back into the 1800s, will be here for the Valley of Flowers. They're gonna have a performance on May 1. Is a special performance prior to Valley of Flowers for dare age school children, and then of course May 2nd starts the Valley of Flowers, and there'll be performances on May 2nd and 3rd. Looking forward to the Valley of Flowers. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Our next council meeting is April 28th here at City Hall at 7 p.m. Mr. Gribb moves for adjournment, second by Mr. Schmidt. All those in favor? Aye.